The fact of the matter is, I'm going to ask the question again. Why did Michelle Obama not accompany President Obama to Saudi Arabia and Egypt? Because in Saudi Arabia, women are third-class citizens, as I have told you. She would have had to wear a veil. She would have had to wear a burqa. She would have been a nobody, a non-person. Now you say, your caller comes in and says she's a stay-at-home mom. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard, because she's going to France. She's there already to accompany him in France on the D-Day thing. Memorial, tomorrow. There's nothing to do with stay-at-home. And by the way, she fired her chief of staff yesterday. That's interesting. This is an interesting subtext and a little intrigue here. While he was away, she fired the woman chief of staff who apparently had met Obama on the campaign trail. I'll let it hang in the air. She put in someone she knows from Chicago. Now, if I next read that the Lincoln bedroom has been closed off and turned into a child's playroom, okay, that's all. Fartik, move on. New York, WOR, Tony, what's on your mind?
Dr. Savage, I was reading The Political Zoo for the third time. Something went through my mind. If you had to write it over again, what animal would Barack Obama be?
He'd be the chameleon, and his Latinized binomial would be double taucus and sultus. You know, I've never seen a president get away with so much rubbish in so short a time. And the press still can't get out of their own love affair with this guy. He insults America. He double talks everything. He says that he's against racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, sexism, xenophobia, which we all are. And he goes to the most sexist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, racist, xenophobic nation on earth, Saudi Arabia. Doesn't he understand the hypocrisy of that?
Absolutely not.
No, of course not. That's why I say the comedian, the double talkus and sultus. Thank you. Let's move on. You know, I got to tell you a personal story. I went to a little restaurant last night. Yeah, it's not important where it was, but it was a nice little place. The waiter is a young guy. I've seen him over the years. And I don't know how it came up. It was about Obama's speeches. The guy is sort of apolitical, the waiter, white guy. And I think he's a liberal who voted for Obama. He and I like each other. We never talk politics. Just a nice young guy. I think I said to him, what do you think of Obama's speeches? He said to me, I can't believe it. He was almost stunned. He said, whose side is he on? I said, well, what do you think? Whose side is he on? He said, I don't know. He's not on our side. So here's a guy who's sort of apolitical. Young guy voted for Obama because he didn't want the old loser or McCain. And he didn't really know the nuance of what one party represented or another. And he represents maybe 10 million votes in the last election. 10 million people voted for Obama because he was young, and they didn't want another old white hack like a Bush job. And the best the Republicans could put up is a fall guy. So he voted for Obama. But even he, an apolitical guy, says to me, which side is he on? He said, I don't know. He's not on our side. Believe me when I tell you there's huge voter remorse in this country. And I will tell you if this election were held again today, Obama would lose. But it's not going to be held again today. That's the problem. But I want you to go back to two thoughts that I've given you so far. He did not take his wife, Michelle Obama, on the trip because women are treated like garbage in Saudi Arabia. And when he went to Buchenwald and he spoke against racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, sexism, xenophobia, and hatred, everyone agrees with him. Yet he just came from the most racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, sexist, xenophobic nation on earth.
Savage.
Memo to liberals. Shut the f*** up and listen to the truth. This is the Savage Nation on Talk 910 KNEW.
Nation holds nuclear weapons.
What?
And that's why I strongly reaffirmed America's commitment to see a world in which no nations hold nuclear weapons.
Oh, my God. Disarmament again. Pacifism. Neville Chamberlain. Wait.
And
listen.
any nation, including Iran, should have the right to access peaceful nuclear power.
Did you hear this? This man is equivalent to Neville Chamberlain, who came back from Germany after Hitler had invaded Czechoslovakia and said that the Anglo-German alliance is stronger than ever, and Chancellor Hitler assures him he's not going to do it again. And so we now have clear evidence that Obama is a naive, pacifist socialist of a garden variety of such, by the way. He's a garden variety pacifist socialist Probably if I had to categorize the type of socialist, I would put him in the category of a Fabian socialist, which I've talked about for 2 years now. It'll soon be used by all of the pseudo-intellectuals in talk radio. He's clearly a Fabian socialist, which is, of course, in a nutshell, socialism not by violence, but bringing it about through gradual change. So in that sense, he's a member of the Fabians, and clearly so, a pacifist and a pacifist as such. A very dangerous man in a world where Iran says they want to wipe Israel off the map and then the great Satan, and he says we have no right to stop them from gaining nuclear weapons. Can you believe this? It's unbelievable to me. Something is beyond comprehension how dumb you are that you don't see this. I saw it. The hypocrisy, the naivete. The speech was an utter disaster. And we can go down the list. In 4, he says, I'm quoting him now, the U.S. government has gone to court to protect the right of women and girls to wear the hijab and to punish those who would deny it. I reject the view of some in the West that a woman who chooses to cover her hair is somehow less equal. But I do believe that a woman who was denied an education is denied equality. That is probably the stupidest statement of all of them. He takes a superficial aspect of women's rights, which is clothing, and he ignores all of the other insults that are inflicted upon women in the Muslim world. In the Middle East, women are dictated to be less equal. It's unbelievable to me. Human rights? Women are being stoned, raped, abused, battered, mutilated, and slaughtered on a daily basis across the globe. That's all violence in the name of religion. And the most our president spoke about is protecting their right to wear hijab? Women in Saudi Arabia can't vote. They can't drive. In Iran, they're stoned to death on suspicion of adultery. In Pakistan, politicians defend honor killings of young girls who have the audacity to choose their own husbands. And, of course, the president mentioned none of that. Instead, he talked about the right of them to wear a hijab. There it is. It's unbelievable to me that you don't see this. So I believe that as time goes on and that intelligent people around the world, left and right, come to understand who this man really is, they will come to understand he is thus far perhaps the most deceptive president in history, if not the most naive. And most of you know this who listen to this show, but most of Americans don't. That's the absolute truth. It's a very small percentage of people who ever know anything anyway. But I can point out till I'm blue in the face the man's naivety and hypocrisy, and those who love him are going to love him anyway because they are worshipers. They are followers. He is a messiah to them. He is Jim Jones. If he told them to drink the Democrat Kool-Aid, if they sent out little packages of Kool-Aid from the Democrat National Committee with a stamp that made it drinkable by Rahm Emanuel, even if it contained strychnine, they would drink it as they were falling in the street. So there it is. Play another Obama speech. Peace.
Any world order that elevates one nation or group of people over another will inevitably fail.
Inevitably fail. Now, I hope he didn't write this for himself, because I've never heard anything as insulting to the nation that permitted an ordinary man like him to become president. Make no mistake about it, he's just an ordinary guy who's very glib, who was picked by the Democrat Party machine in Chicago to run with their flag. They to this day, I can guarantee you they don't believe that he made it. I can guarantee you that they're shocked that they pushed him so far so fast. This is a shallow, hollow man. So you say, well, give the guy a chance when you're spending all your time knocking him. I can understand what you're saying. But I have terrible fears about what he'll do to this country if he is not pointed out as he is. I want you to take the arc over the next 4 to 8 years. You will not have a nation left. If this naive, pacifist, socialist, Fabian socialist at that, is not called out in newspaper columns and on television quickly enough, you're not going to have a nation left, let alone your freedoms. That's my opinion. But I know that the Kool-Aid drinkers can't see that at all. Tomorrow we got to watch the disgrace of him at Normandy. A guy who spits on the graves of our fallen soldiers. Now he's going to go to Normandy. I love it. Maybe you could say they made a mistake in bombing Dresden while he's there. Made a mistake in fighting the war against Hitler because they didn't fight it under his rules. Play California louder. Go ahead, I'll shut up. I had no wise comment here. I could say something about. He said Mercedes-Benz. I wanted to hear the Indian music and do I Want Mercedes for your entertainment. I'll put on the Indian music. I'll entertain the crowd. That's all. I'm going to translate from the mock Hindi now. I want Mercedes. Sister has Mercedes. You only buy me Toyota. I know what? Yes, I want Mercedes. Come on, I have Indian friends, and you know how much I admire the Indian people. They laugh at this. The white racist scum communists turn everything I say into something that it isn't. Mercedes.